All right. Well, good morning. Let's start our session off with a little bit of talking for a second. And one thing I wanted to mention, or we wanted to talk about, is why our purples, why we call purple bets purple bets. A purple bet, if we're betting one chip, a purple bet is three. So normal bet, basic bet, one chip, and a purple bet is three times that, or two times that. So you're going to bet three. For instance, if we're betting the $50 that we usually play with, a purple is 150. It's three times the bet. If you're paying $5, it's 15. If you're paying 100, it's 300. But the purpose of that is to defeat, certain circumstances. Like for instance, when you're playing and the dealer wins a hand, and then you win a hand, then the dealer win a hand, then you win a hand. It goes back and forth like that. The way we play, if we bet one chip and we win, we let that ride the next time. And if it's going back and forth, you're essentially just giving the house one chip every time.
Right. So that's your first bet. You win, so you get paid. You stack it up. Next hand you lose. Dealer takes it. So you've lost not only your original bet, but also what you were paid the last bet.
Right. You're paying one bet, whatever your denomination is, every hand, and you need to break that off. One way you can do is flat bet. So if you bet 25 and you win, you take the 25 to your stack and you just let the 25 ride. If you lose, you bet another 25. That's flat betting. And if it's going back and forth, you can do that. And in the end, the house usually wins a hand or two more out of the whole shoe, than the player does if everything's breaking halfway even. So you do all right, but you came in even. We're trying to win, and that's the purpose of what we're trying to learn and to do.
Different strategies to try out.
Yep. So whenever we mention purple, it's a three bet, and the reason it's three is because if you bet a chip and you lose it, and we're playing purple, then the next time you bet three, and if you win that, if it's going back and forth, that's what'll happen. You'll win three, but you don't let all of those double up. Because if it's going back and forth, you're going to lose the next hand. And this game is all about rhythm, and you got to kind of figure out what the rhythm is for your particular shoe at that particular time and play accordingly. But so you wouldn't let all six of those ride. If you won the second one, what we suggest you do is you just do that. You leave one. You double your bet, leave some ride, and that means you're ahead a chip. This is what you bet for the three, and if you won, you're ahead a chip, and you're betting two. And if you lose that, then you bet that one. You're back. You're back to even. But if you're playing purple and say you're playing purple, you bet the one, and you lose. So then you bet a purple bet is a three. Okay, and then if you win that one, you're going to bring this money back, which is your bet, and take a chip off your stack, which is a profit, and these two ride. And if it's going back and forth, you're going to lose that, but you still have. But this time, since you've lost, you're going to bet three again. And if it goes back and forth, then same thing. Leave two out, bring the rest back to your stack, and if you lose that, you bet three. If you win that, then you can take a profit, or take a profit, because that would be 2 in a row, and we always take a profit at the second one in a row. Take a bet back, which is happens to be 2 chips or 2 bets. Like I said, if you're playing 50, it's $50. It's 100. You're playing hundreds, you're taking 200 back. So it's double your basic bet that you're taking back after you win 2 hands the second hand in a row. And 2 hands in a row is not too hard to win. When it gets above that, they're more difficult. Now you're talking being lucky. So that's why when we refer to 3 bets, that is what we're talking about. And we mentioned luck, and we were going to talk about this concept that one way to look at luck is if you had one of those bingo spinners that they have ping pong balls with B11 and O72 in it and all like that, and it spins around, constantly spinning, or like a lottery, the lottery one with the ping pong balls. Well, think of it, your luck is a little bit like that, but it's a huge spinner, okay? And say there's 1 million white marbles in there, and that represents you, the player, winning 1 million. And to balance that out with luck, there's 1 million black ones in there mixed in that represents the house's wins. So black, the house wins; white,
The player wins.
the player wins. Okay. Now the house has an advantage. It's built into the game. That's how they build these fancy casinos, and which I like. I like to go to fancy casinos, and I don't mind if they spend their money on it. But that's how they beat you, or everybody. It's just built into the game. So you have 1 million white marbles, 1 million, and the house's advantage. There's if you're playing perfect, it's some people say a 0.5% house advantage. I've heard 2.4%, and I don't have the exact figures on that, but say if it's 1%, there's going to be an extra 10,000 black chips in this mix. That's the house advantage. And you have to throw some extras in for the mistakes that people make. People that don't double down on 11, or they hit 13 when the dealer's showing a 6. People make mistakes, and that works out good for the house. So you have to throw another big old fistful of black marbles in the mix to account for that. So these things are constantly stirring around, and when you play a hand, it's like you reach in and grab one. Do you get black or white? If you get a white one, you're going to win. Get a black one, you're going to lose. And there's no reason why, if you lose 3 in a row, why that next time you reach in there, why you're going to get a white one. It's random, it's law of probabilities, and it could be anything, But in reality, we've kept, records and played the game a lot just so we could figure out. And in reality, it does go back and forth. When we count our flat bets, it'll always work out pretty close to equal amount for the dealer and for the player. Usually the dealer has more. Like they'll have 24 hands and the player will have 22. And that's the most part. If you're lucky and you're winning, sometimes the player will get 28, and the house will get 22. That's when you've won good, and it happens. That's what we're playing for. So, there's no guarantee that you're going to win after you've lost 3 in a row or 4 in a row or whatever. In our record keeping, the most it's ever went is 12 in a row, and that's a lot. That's our world's record, in our record keeping. And for the most part, 3 in a row is pretty good. Sometimes you'll get 5 or 6 in a row, a couple times in a shoe, and that's great. You're going to win good, and especially the way we bet. We're adding to our each bet as we win, without going crazy. We got to keep some for when we lose and we want to play another hand. So I just want to throw that out there as a way to show, a way to visualize the luck.
And when you go into the casino, it's always good to have separate strategies. So if one strategy isn't working the simplest way, then you think, okay, what can I do to change it up?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the purple bets. Maybe it's sitting out 2 or 3 hands.
Yeah.
But
or doing making 2 hands instead of 1.
Ways to change the game so it turns over in your favor.
Right.
Right. And like Kip says, the bottom line is, if you're lucky, you're going to be lucky.
Right. And it's a give and take, and it's a long run thing. But that's why we keep our records for a long time. We're not losers over a long run. That we've proven that in our paperwork.
Right.
I mean, we play for Monopoly money, but we can confidently go into a casino and play, and we might lose, we might win, but it's not devastating either way. We play with money that we can afford to lose. If we win, for me, I just put it back in the wallet and save it for next time.
Right.
And it's over a long period of time game.
Right.
So, all right, now I think we're ready to play some better blackjack this morning.